All right. Madam Clerk. I don't know. I think I opened at the chair, right? Madam Clerk. Huh? Madam Clerk, the time is now 1:41. I'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Heather, are you ready? All right.
Is an update on the upcoming pension file review from our finance director, Ms. Maddie Sue Stevens.
Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly, we are in session. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is a very brief update. I just wanted to let you know about some upcoming work that is going to be done over the next 4 or 5 months by our staff in our HR department and payroll. They've been meeting together to find ways to improve the processes between the two departments, and one need they identified is to do a very thorough review of all of our open pension files. We have many employees that have moved between pension files during their time with Augusta or have moved between different benefits plans. And with their transition to our new ADP system, it has revealed a lot of opportunities to make sure that those files are in order. And so the HR department has proactively put together a group. They're putting together a group of temp employees that are going to focus 100% on reviewing all of our Medicare files, our employee benefits files, and our pension files, just to make sure that everything is in order. I think this is a good move, and to make sure that everything in our system is clean. Wanted to let you know that that is happening, and we'll be able to give you an update on the progress of that at the next one of these committee meetings. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Wayne Guilfoyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Maddie, this is a different subject, but when it comes to the GMED's plan, we got to make sure. I keep having, because the employees called me. One, a couple months ago, they didn't get their statements, and it was because GMEDs didn't put in alphabetical order. But we also got to make sure that the employees are kept up to date, because there's no reason why a commissioner should be involved in that process, because it should be between the employee, GMEDs, and I guess it'd be HR.
We certainly agree. I know that Human Resources has had several conversations with GMEBs about how to improve some of those processes and putting together some communications for employees. So,
well, yeah, we got to do something. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. All right, Madam Clerk. The next item.
Yes, sir. Item number 2, presentation of the quarterly performance evaluation report for the 1945 and 1949 pension plans for the period ending June 30th, 2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Siegler, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Ability to put it on the screen. Excellent. Okay. Give you an update on the markets through the June 30th timeframe. The market through June was really shaped by the U.S. and economic growth, inflation concerns, shifting geopolitical heightened concerns with what was happening in the Middle East, and then expectations for the Federal Reserve policy. For the quarter, we had the U.S. large cap declined. That was during the month of June, and investors rotated really away from a lot of several of the mega cap technology companies that had really driven the market. Despite the monthly decline, the S&P 500 finished the first half of the year with a really strong positive return, which you can see on this page of 10.21% for the year to date, coming off of the first negative quarter that we had. For the quarter, we were up 15.2%. So we erased all the gains, the losses that we had in the first quarter, made it up so positive on the year-to-date basis. International, we had some international markets that moved similarly to the domestic markets. If I can scroll down a little bit here so you can see the S&P 500, I'd like to show you the sector returns. when I mentioned that the technology sector, we had rotated away from that, but look at the best performing sector that we had. And even though in June it moved away, we were still up 31.8% in technology stocks. The little laggard for the second quarter of the year was energy stocks, and that was related a lot to what we'd seen with the geopolitical concerns that we had. Next page, look at the international markets. You can see the developed international markets with the MSCI EFA index for the quarter up 10.8% and for the year to date up 9.44%. International markets had very similar issues that we had, same concerns that we had as well domestically. They did pull out a nice quarter return, but make them positive as well. Emerging markets, the bellwether, had a great quarter, up 24.15%, which made their year-to-date positive as well. Look at the Bloomberg Aggregate Index. You can see what our fixed income, with the concerns that we had with the new Fed chair coming into place in June. Market was a little bit uncertain about the Fed policies going forward. For the year-to-date, positive 0.62%, and for the quarter, 0.67%. So that quarter really brought us from a negative to a positive. The Fed chair, the new chair that we have, Fed Warsh, has been a little less communicative than we had in our previous Fed chair. The market's kind of digesting that policy just to see what that's going to do to the markets. He has been very clear and stated that he's not going to give us forward guidance the way our previous Fed chair have. And so we've seen a little bit more volatility in the long end of the bond curve. And we expect that to be consistent as we start to digest this information. He's had 2 meetings. We had a June meeting, and since the end of June, we've had a July meeting as well. We did in the July meeting, even though you aren't going to see that in this data, there were 3 dissents on the interest rate movement. They held interest rates between 3.5% and 3.75%. But because of the 3 dissents, there were 3 members of the FOMC committee that did want to have interest rates heightened and raised for the quarter, but that did not happen. And so we're just seeing some uncertainty around that. Given the market with what we've seen internationally with the new Fed chair, we've just seen a little bit more heightened awareness and more heightened volatility. Not that we did not expect that. We didn't know what was going to drive it this year, but we know that we were in the 4th year of a bull market, and so we expected to have a more volatile time frame. Obviously, we did not foresee what was going to happen with the geopolitical issues, but we did know that we had a new Fed chair coming in, so we expected volatility surrounding that. Any questions on the market before we dive into the actual portfolio so you can see the performance?
Ms. Hiegler, I don't see any questions. Please proceed.
Right. Should be able to get this down a little bit so you can see the data a little more clearly. We're looking at the 1949 plan here. We started, we had the beginning of the quarter started at, year to date at $80,560,000. We have distributed out $1,211,000 to pay benefits, investment gains of just over $6,062,000, which gave us an ending market value of $85,412,000, with a gain in the quarter of $7,936,000. If you look over on the left-hand side, you can see the breakdown of asset allocation. We had domestic equities at 58.3%, international at 15.4%, gives us a total equity of 73.78%. Fixed income at 24% and just a little bit of cash on hand. We have, as we have been for the last couple of years because of the great returns we've seen in the equity markets, as we're making cash available to pay those pension benefits on a monthly basis, we are pulling that out of the equity market. And so we're trying to keep reducing that equity exposure, and we're doing that a little bit larger scale. We want to go ahead and get ready. Not that we're saying the market's going to have a downturn, but we want to be prepared if that happens. And so we're actively pulling and reducing that equity exposure while we've had such great returns. If you look at our manager performance, you can see your large cap value manager for the quarter up 15.8% and for your fiscal year up 19.4%, ahead of their appropriate index for both time frames. At Atlanta, which is your large cap core manager, up 16.7 for the quarter, ahead of their benchmark and trailing a little bit on the fiscal year to date. They did a nice job of catching up for the quarter as well. MDT, which is our all cap core kind of go anywhere manager, up 13.5% on the quarter and 9.2% on the fiscal. Your international manager, you have 2. Lazard is your more value-oriented international manager, up 12% for the quarter, and for the fiscal up 9%. And then your growth manager for the quarter up 6.2%, and for the fiscal up 7.4%. For your fixed income, for the quarter up 1% and for the fiscal year right at 1%, bringing us a total for the 1949 plan for the quarter up 10.3% and for the fiscal year to date 7.88%. And so we are very pleased with those numbers. That is ahead of where the actuarial assumption is for the year, which is at 7%. And so we're pleased that hopefully we can hold tight. We know that the third quarter of the year sometimes is a little bit more of a negative. It's a little bit more challenging time frame, but if we can survive that quarter, we think we'll have a good year. We're expecting the market to be positive through the end of the year. So the 1940, oh, I'm sorry, I did put in a July update so you can see this as well. This is through the end of July, so we're up 8.4% at the end of July. So again, very positive and ahead of where we need to be for the year. 1945 plan, very similar information that you can see here, giving you the beginning market value that we had for the beginning of the year, which was just over $5,318,000. We transferred out $140,825, investment gain of $338,000, bringing us to a total market value of $5,516,000. Look at the asset allocation on the left-hand side. Total equity on this portfolio is 54.2%. We do not have international exposure here because that's not allowed because it's a small plan. So we have a higher degree of fixed income exposure at 41.8%, and then a little more cash because we do draw a little bit higher percentage of cash out for this portfolio because it is very mature. The managers for the large cap value for the quarter up 15.9%, and for the fiscal year 19.6%. The large cap core up 17.1% for the quarter and 7.6% for the fiscal. All cap core up 13.6% for the quarter and 9.33% for the fiscal. Similar performance for your fixed income, up 1% for the quarter and right at 1% for the fiscal year, which brings you to a total with the cash that we have on hand for the quarter up 8.66% and for the fiscal year up 6.74%. We look at the update for them through July. Looking at that number, and I'm seeing that that number is not accurate. That number actually should be 6.4%, not 3.4%. And so we're right in line with where we should be for the end of the year. And so I'll get that updated and resend over an update for you on that as well. Any questions for me on the 49 plan or the 45 plan?
Ms. Siegler, I don't see any. Please continue.
That's all we have for you today. This is a quick little mid-year, halfway through the year update. It's always short when it's good news.
All right. Committee, are there any questions regarding this report, this information that's been presented? Ms. Siegler, I don't see or hear any. Madam Clerk, I think we'd like to receive this as information if there's no objection. I don't hear or see any objection. Ms. Siegler, this information is received. Thank you very much. Continue the great work.
Thank you. I hope I get
We
to see you with
appreciate
good
you.
news again in the fall.
All right. Madam Clerk, does that conclude our agenda for today?
Yes, sir.
If that does, this pension meeting is hereby adjourned. The time is now 1:54 p.m. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for being here. Madam Clerk, the time is now 2:07 p.m. on this edition of the Augusta Richmond County Commission meeting, Tuesday, August 18th. Madam Clerk, I'm going to grant a point of personal privilege to the commissioner from the 5th, Commissioner Don Clark. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Family, I just wanted to bring, again, a point of recognition. We lost one of our trailblazing leaders and giants in the area, Executive Director Nancy Glazier, who managed, directed, and built a lot of the existing curation, preservation, and cataloging of our region's history. Ms. Glazier represented as the leader for 20 plus years and ensured that this community's history would consistently and continuously be preserved, documented, and displayed for all to continue to learn and grow from. So we now will take the challenge up of continuing the work that she's done and that staff in trying to continue to do the same thing. But if you all will please allow us a moment of silence as we recognize, again, Ms. Nancy Glazier on her sudden, very sudden loss. Thank you. Please keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. Ms. Glazier certainly was what I consider to keep her the records, and she did an outstanding job of that for decades. Certainly going to miss her passion for Augusta and our history. Madam Clerk, I think we're prepared to move forward now with our invocation and pledge.
Yes, sir. At this time, we will have our invocation shared with us today by Pastor Michael Myers of the Marvin United Methodist Church, after which we would have our Pledge of Allegiance, and we would like to ask our HR Director, Director Rookert, if she would please lead us. Will you please stand?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to come in and offer prayer. I'll make it as short as possible at the request of Commissioner Johnson. Let us pray. Gracious eternal God, we thank you for this day, for the gift of this community and opportunity for us to gather together. Today we ask your blessing upon this commission and upon all who have been entrusted with the responsibility of serving the people of Augusta Richmond County. As they deliberate, discuss, and make decisions, open our eyes to see beyond ourselves. Open our minds to hear and understand perspectives different from our own, and open our hearts to remember the people whose lives are affected by the decisions made in this room. Give wisdom to our commissioners, our administrators, our employees, and all those who serve this community. Where there is disagreement, grant understanding. Where there are difficult decisions, grant wisdom. And where there are competing interests, help us always remember the people we are called to serve. Remind us, the public service is not about who gets credit, it's about who gets the help. We especially lift before you the most vulnerable among us, the child who needs an opportunity, the senior who needs support, the family struggling to make ends meet, those whose voices are too often unheard, and every person who needs to know that this community sees them, hears them, and has not forgotten them. Help those entrusted with leadership to work together, even when they may not always agree. Give them the courage to seek what is right, the humility to listen, and the wisdom to recognize that none of us have all the answers. May the work done here today not be for personal recognition or political advantage, but for the good of the people and ultimately for your glory. Guide our words, guide our decisions, guide our hearts, and when the work of this meeting is finished, may Augusta Richmond County be stronger because people are willing to listen, willing to serve, and willing to work together. We all pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Myers, thank you for that reflective and intuitive prayer on our behalf. Thank you. By these presents be it known that Pastor Michael Myers, lead pastor of the Our Marvin United Methodist Church, is our chaplain of the day. May your spiritual guidance and unwavering leadership continue to bring strength and blessings to the citizens of Augusta. Given under my hand this 18th day of August 2026, Garnett L. Johnson, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pastor Myers, I'm going to refer to you as that because that's your official duty today. Thank you so much for all that you do for the community. Thank you for that prayer. Appreciate you being here today. Madam Clerk, recognition.
Yes, sir. At this time, we will recognize and the commission would like to offer its congratulations and recognize the employees that celebrate 25 to 50 years of service during this month of July 2026. Ms. Rickard, HR Director.
Good afternoon, Mayor Johnson, Commissioners, Madam Administrator, citizens of Augusta. It gives me great joy to recognize our years of service recipients today. For the month of July, during the month, we had 26 employees celebrating 5 to 50 years of service with Augusta. The total years of service and institutional knowledge being celebrated today is 370. So as I call your names, I'd like for the employees with 25 to 50 years of service to please come forward. Mr. Thomas Talent, Sheriff's Office, 25 years. Karen Cash, Tax Assessor's Office, 35 years. Wayne Beasley, Planning and Development, 35 years. And I think it's a good thing that I give this lady all of the attention today. So I'm sad everyone didn't show up, but I'm glad everyone didn't show up because I want to give this lady all of the attention she needs. So, Miss Norma Lee, Utilities, 50 years. Again, Miss Norma Lee has worked with the city of Augusta for 50 years. That is a lot of knowledge and education.
The mic, okay. Let me bring this to her.
Miss Lena and I've been together many years. Like Tamika and I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been here. It's been a good 50 years. It's ups and downs, but I've enjoyed every minute, and I really appreciate all the bosses that I've had and the co-workers that I've worked with over the years. I appreciate y'all being here, and I thank you for every every moment, every good thing that's happened to me during my 50 years of service. And now I'm retired, so I'm going to enjoy the next.
God bless you.
Congratulations to all of our years of service recipients.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for our year of service awardees, especially Ms. Normally. She's always welcome to come back in and help out anytime she feels the need. Madam Clerk, before we go into our delegations and as some exit the chambers, I'm going to use a point of personal privilege to say that this week is Tech Neck Week. If you don't know, there's a lot of visitors in town, especially in our downtown corridor. So if you're planning on going to dinner or lunch, we ask that you exercise patience in that. It's probably the largest conference that we host every year, and it's for our military, it's for cyber. So if you're downtown, please exercise patience. And if you see any service member in uniform or somebody who's a part of that, please welcome them to our great city. All right, Madam Clerk, I think that takes us to the delegation portion of this meeting.
Our first delegation, item B, Ms. Gayla Kesey, Ordinance Revision Process.
Thanks so much. Ms. Kesey? For the record, please state your name and place of residence.
My name is Gayla Kesey. I am co-president of the League of Women Voters of the CSRA. I live in Augusta, Georgia.
Thank you, ma'am. Before you get started, I'm going to ask you a question. The topic that you're going to discuss today, is it relevant to anything that was germane within the past 90 days?
It is relevant to, no.
All right. You may proceed.
Thank you.
And you have 5 minutes.
Last Monday was the first of 3 required meetings on the data center ordinance. Several commissioners were absent, and residents noted that. This was a chance for commissioners, not just residents, to learn what's actually in this ordinance before they vote on it. Some things in that presentation were done well. The PowerPoint gave residents something visual to follow instead of just listening blind. The handouts were a good idea. The utilities director did a generally good job. He answered questions, gave real explanations, and connected what he was saying to actual processes and impact. Director Cameron's part of the presentation was bullet points, with no explanation of why decisions were made or how they'll affect residents. The handouts were referenced but never really walked through. I heard from residents afterward who said they were still confused about issues, not just on technical terms. A lot of people don't understand what an ordinance actually does. A lot of people, and what it actually does and how permitting and zoning work, or how this process governs and monitors what gets built. That's not a data center issue. That's an ordinance issue. It's true of everyone, and we're currently going through that ordinance revision process. If residents don't understand what planning and zoning actually does, they can't really meaningfully weigh in for comments. There are also no real introduction of the panel. 3 people sat up front, and 2 never said a word, so I never was sure who they were. At no point were there name tags or name signs or anything, so residents who aren't familiar with our government didn't know who was speaking. The bigger problem, though, is version history. Director Cameron told us that this was a changed document, that resident suggestions and concerns had been incorporated. That's the good news. But how the document changed and how it incorporated additional research and public comment was never explained. She also told us the presentation from that meeting is posted on the city's website. It isn't. What's posted is a presentation from July 6th, prepared for a different meeting and a different audience. It's nearly identical with only a few minor changes, and it has the same core problem: bullet points and no explanation of why and how. More importantly, the ordinance itself just gets replaced on our website. A new PDF goes up labeled Draft Data Center Ordinance with no version history attached. We know the Planning Commission reviewed a version on July 6th and found it incomplete. Planning and Development has since revised it, but the public has no way of knowing to see what actually changed or whether our input mattered at all. I raised this back in July that we needed a real two-step revision process. Hold the public meetings, revise the ordinance based on those public meetings, and let the public actually see and respond to the revision before anything is final. That didn't happen. The document changed, but nothing was published showing what changed or why. And if the comments box is still the only way to weigh in, we have no way of knowing whether anything we said was ever incorporated. So I'm asking again, directly, before this ordinance come back for a vote, publish the revised draft with a red line showing exactly what changed from what we saw before. Right now, we're being asked to comment on a document without even knowing whether or how it's different from the one we already commented on. That's not a real chance to respond to the revision. Version every draft, notify subscribers when something changes.
1 minute.
And use the next 2 meetings to actually explain your reasoning and not just provide a list of topics that are included in the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kesey. I don't see any colleagues in the queue for discussion. Madam Clerk, we're prepared to move on with item C, please.
Okay, our next delegation, Mr. Tyler Evans Martin, regarding Richmond County Skate Park proposal.
Mr. Martin. Good afternoon, sir. You have it. All right, we're going to give you a minute to get these distributed before I get you started. If you will, for the record, please state your name and place of residence.
My name is Tyler Evans Martin, and I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
Thank you, sir. I'll give you just a second. These are different.
These are different. So it's supposed to be two. It's two purposes.
Yep.
It's two.
It's two purposes. They're different ones.
Let me see. I got this one. That's a complete set.
So it's two different.
Works. Everybody got both handouts? Commissioner, there you go. Good. Everybody else good? Everybody else good? All right. Mr. Martin? Yes. All right. I think we're all square now. Mr. Martin, you had the floor and you have 5 minutes, sir.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Tyler Evans Martin, and I'm a lifelong resident of Richmond County. I truly appreciate this chance to speak with you all today. For the past 20 years, 2 full decades, Richmond County has had no public skate park. That absence has shaped the lives of many youth and adults, including me, in most ways people never notice. Growing up, I skated in driveways, rough streets, and empty lots because there was no safe and legal place to go. I've been kicked out of public spaces, threatened, and even had the police called on me for practicing a hobby that kept me active and out of trouble growing up. And because we had no central place to gather, I grew up never knowing other skaters and BMX riders lived just blocks away. We had a community, but no way to find each other. A public skate park would change all that. It's not just recreation, it's safety. Cities across the country have documented decreases in loitering, trespassing, and youth-related incidents after building skate parks. When young people have a designated place to go, they stay out of unsafe areas and away from situations that lead to negative interactions. Skating and other action sports are already happening here in Richmond County every day, behind businesses and parking lots, on sidewalks, near traffic, and other places not designed for it. A skate park simply moves these activities into a safe, purpose-built environment. It also supports mental and physical health. Skating improves balance, coordination, discipline, and resilience. It helps with weight loss, reduce stress, anxiety, and screen time. It gives kids who may not connect with traditional team sports a place to belong. Action sports communities are amongst the most inclusive in the world, bringing together people of every race, gender, religion, income level, and political affiliation and age. It's one of the only places you can see a 5-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 50-year-old all practicing together, teaching and encouraging each other. And when practicing a well-designed space, these activities are no more dangerous than traditional sports. Since 2020, freestyle BMX and skateboarding have been Olympic sports, so our county has the potential to foster an Olympian from this project. Action sports are also affordable besides optional contests. There are no fees, no uniforms, no tryouts. A skate park is one of the most equitable investments a county can make. We've seen locals build DIY parks over the years, not out of defiance, but out of necessity. These spaces brought people together and gave kids a safe outlet, but every one of them was eventually removed, along with obstacles community members paid for themselves. That history shows one important thing. Residents want a skate park, and they've tried to create one because the county hasn't provided one yet. The support we're seeing today is broad and genuine. So many people have spoken positively about our goal. I've heard from preachers, teachers, students, parents, grandparents, city workers, and many other people have signed, shared, and even paid to promote my petition. Most without even knowing until now I was the person behind it. This isn't a niche request, and it's an organic community movement. A skate park also opens the door to outside funding. The skate park project, formerly known as the Tony Hawk Foundation, offers grants specifically for public skate parks. There are also state recreation and youth development grants that cities across the country use to co-fund and even fully fund construction. Richmond County doesn't have to shoulder the full cost alone, and we're not asking for anything oversized or unrealistic. A well-built mid-sized skate park, durable, thoughtfully designed, and centrally located will be more than enough. Even a small park becomes a powerful place for community connection and safe recreation. Any location will be appreciated, but choosing a spot that's visible, easily monitored, and eventually capable of lighting will dramatically increase safety and accessibility. Unlike many recreational facilities, skate parks stay active from morning until the lights go out at night. For 20 years, our youth have been displaced, discouraged, and left without a safe outlet. We watched DIY parks rise and fall. We've watched generations lose opportunities for connection, creativity, and healthy recreation. We waited long enough. I'm not here to complain, though. I'm here to collaborate. I'm asking Richmond County to acknowledge the need for a public skate park, identify land suitable for a modern, safe design, work with professional skate park builders on a durable, community-driven facility, collaborate with park advocates and other residents, pursue available grants and sponsors, commit to funding or co-funding this long overdue project. A public skate park is not a luxury, it's an investment in youth development, public safety, mental and physical health, equity, and community strength. We want to build something positive, safe, and long-lasting for the community we all love. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Martin, thank you so much. There's a few colleagues in the queue. I know we have had everything from BMX tracks to RC parks, and everything. So we're going to go through the queue. Commissioner from the 8th, Commissioner Brandon Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Martin, I appreciate you bringing this up. This has been a conversation that has taken place over the last few years behind the scenes a few times, trying to get this on a SPLOST list. I grew up skating as well. I grew up in Burke County. I used to drive to Augusta to come skate at the skate park that used to be on Highland Avenue next to the water plant. I also skated that catastrophe that was on Damascus as well, but we won't discuss that one. So I'm just stating my age. You probably weren't even born. But I actually have a question, Mayor, for Ms. Williams, if you don't mind.
Director Williams.
And sir, have you had a chance to have any conversations with our Parks Director next to you? Right behind you, Ms. Williams.
I recently spoke to her yesterday.
You didn't have to walk all the way across. Ms. Williams, I'm just curious. We've had this discussion about some of our underutilized parks, and just hearing what he is stating, I know we have quite a few parks that really don't have much as far as infrastructure on them. Looking at those, do you see any of those that we could utilize for a skate park?
It could potentially be. This is good information that we see that there's an interest for skate park. We don't have that currently in the inventory on our project, but that's something that can be considered and look at the best location of where it could actually be if we will move forward trying to do something like this.
And as far as the grants that he was talking about, I would highly recommend that you get some of that information as well.
The skate park project grant.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Garrett. Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Wayne Guilfoyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Tyler Evans Martin, thank you for bringing, not only did you recognize the problem within our city, but you also brought a solution. I appreciate that. Ms. Williams, as far as this, where Mr. Martin had brought up these grant opportunities, are we able to fill it out, or is that something he would have to do himself, or can we assist him in order to move forward?
We could be able to move forward with applying for it. It is a municipality grant that we can go after. The time range for that, if I'm not mistaken, is the beginning of the year, January through I think March or April. And then if you potentially get the grant, you'll be notified at the end of the year.
Okay. I definitely appreciate you coming before us, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Chair recognizes Commissioner from the 1st, Commissioner Jordan Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Martin, do you have any photos?
I do. I
what you-
would have to upload them though.
Okay, can you get those to maybe email them to us? Either email them. Are you able to show them today?
Yeah, I can show them.
Can we get some photos? I'd just like to see kind of what he's done. I know that the skate park that they did at Vernon Forest Park was a DIY park, and it was a really good one. I had a question, maybe this is for legal or whoever could potentially answer this, is with the DIY park that they were doing, I know that a big issue was liability concerns for the city's park. Is there a way, in the interim, let's just say we're not able to fund a new skate park or something like that, is there a way for us to be able to have some type of agreement with them to where they assume the risk if someone hurts themselves on city property or something of that nature? Is there a way for us to still move forward without a funding plan, so to speak?
The short answer is yes. The practical answer is what organization is going to provide the insurance or coverage. Mm-hmm. So if there's a proposal that Director Williams gets involved with and it needs to be a P3 kind of project, we'll certainly be happy to kind of weigh in on options to protect Augusta and also have a functioning park.
Okay, I'd like to see a conversation had between the parties just to bring us back some type of update on what you come up with. But if, Mr. Mayor, if it be in order, could we get Mr. Martin to show us a few of the pictures that he has for his projects?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That'd be awesome. Ms. McFarlane.
And I want to also acknowledge the supporters of this project. There's a number of folks here to support. If you support the project, would you stand to be recognized, please?
All right.
Thank y'all for being here. Thank you. Thank y'all.
While we get those pictures, where you guys skating at right now? Where? All right. Every day. Augusta University.
All right, we don't want them to tell on themselves in the chambers here. All right. Thank y'all for being here.
I just want to point out I'm from Aiken, South Carolina. I'm in full support of Tyler and what he's doing. I can tell you from my experience, skaters will travel. I'm one that travel at least an hour to go skate. So even being in South Carolina, this is something that myself and many others will definitely utilize.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You want to tell us what we're looking at here?
just park designs that are recently built, probably like within the last couple of years, by a company called Fifth Pocket Skate Parks. They've been making basically a lot of beginner-friendly skate parks, and they're pretty much all affordable. A lot of skate parks are upwards from like $800 to $1 million or more. They've been building skate parks for like the last 11 years that are all under like 500,000. Like this last one was only $150,000 in total.
Okay.
And I think like 50K of that or 100K of that was just from a grant, so.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Martin, thank you so much. All of you skateboarders, skaters, thank you so much. You even got roller derby?
Roller derby, Soul City Sirens.
Soul City Sirens in the house. All right. All right. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for your passion. Mr. Martin, thank you. You will hear more from us regarding this. All right. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Our next delegation D, Mr. Michael Dixon, Drinking Water System Regulations.
Mr. Dixon, welcome, sir. If you will, for the record, you have anything you need to, we need to get on the screen or you need to present?
Not today. Do you have the full caption that I emailed in?
I'm quite sure we do, but.
I just wanted that presented.
All right, all right, put up the next delegation item for Mr. Dixon, please. Okay. Item D. There you go.
It's in your agenda book.
It is in the agenda book.
Delegation, Michael Dixon, his request to appear form has his total caption.
All right, Mr. Dixon, if you will, for record, please state your name and place of residence.
Michael Dixon, Augusta, Georgia.
You have 5 minutes and the floor.
I was going to come today to yell and scream. I even had a lawyer on retainer right now, waiting for a phone call after I left here. But instead, I'm not going to make this about me. I'm going to make it about the people sitting behind me, the residents of Augusta, Georgia. Our own water utilities department has the tagline, "Water is life." We've all seen it on every one of our bills. Right now, the EPA is proposing to rescind a rule. And I say the words proposed because that's what our water utilities department used in their last 2025 water utilities report for drinking water quality. It's actually an intended rule. There is no proposal. They are fully intending to remove these drinking water regulations over PFAS, a large group of toxic and known chemicals that cause cancer, heart disease. Like, the amount of health effects that have been associated with these is well documented. The EPA themselves are not even contesting the findings of evidence about these chemicals. They're just contesting the legality of how it was passed and pushed through to rescind it. They said that once it is rescinded and they move forward, they will then propose a future date in which to repropose these drinking water regulations. It's been pushed out to 2031 already, with cities like yourself able to get an extension on these regulations. Toxic chemicals will remain in our water systems, in the Savannah River, in our drinking water until 2031, and then maybe never get re-regulated. Instead of sitting here and telling the people the truth, y'all have been acting like there is not a problem going on, that our federal government, our state government has abandoned us. I have from both senators and representatives of our city saying that they will not do much of anything, that there is no bill or legislation to get money for our filters, for our systems. Now, there are other people that are trying to help this city and have lended money towards us. The EPA even brought us money. But in that meeting where the EPA was bringing us money about the PFAS and telling us how bad the contamination was in this city and was in the drinking water, not just our wells or the groundwater, but in active drinking water, we had a commissioner sit there and lie with the EPA data right in front of him. That is a representation of what our city, not as individuals as yourself, but as a city, have done consistently for 20, 30 years. Hyde Park is the best example because it wasn't just Hyde Park that got contaminated and suffered. It was all of Augusta. You've seen it through the health of your workers, the new wellness. Y'all burned through a lot of your budget just dealing with healthcare concerns. That was at the last budgetary retreat. When are we going to stand up and start taking action and defending these people's health? It's wrong. Our drinking water is contaminated. It is time we stop and say there is something wrong when chemical corporations and other corporations like the military as well have more rights to the water that we drink than we do as citizens. We have to pay for that. And then you send us a bill saying that water is life, but yet we know there are chemicals in it. How is that right? I want every single one of you to think about that tonight when you go to bed, when you shower, when you wake up, when people are feeding their kids, cooking. Everything we do revolves around water. Let's do something about it. I yield my time to anybody.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon, for being here. There are no colleagues in the queue for discussion. Have a great day. Madam Clerk, delegation item E, please.
Delegation E, Mr. Melvin L. Kelly, homelessness.
Good day, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Please, for the record.
Hey, no, man, good to see you. My name is Melvin Kelly, 2014 Olive Road, Augusta, Georgia.
Sir, is there anything you need to pass?
Oh, yeah, I got something I want to show you.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I do. But I want to say the last time I was here, I was showing you something about some learning labs. And I didn't get the chance to finish because something happened. I was kind of feeling a little down low on that day because it was the same day that here in the city of Augusta, they found a homeless man dead.
Okay.
Then froze to death on the railroad tracks.
You're going to get your demonstration on the screen before I get you started.
You going to put it on there? This one. Okay, so, and I told you I'd be back. It's been a while.
You said you'd be back.
Yeah, but I am a great advocate for the homeless in this city. I've been doing it ever since 2010 when Chester Willer was Director of Community Development. Vicki Johnson was Continuum Care Coordinator. I spent time with Mr. Hawthorne Welcher. You got Mr. Daniel Evans as Continuum Care Coordinator. Now you got Mr. Charles Jackson. And you got Miss Alicia Collins out there with United Way. That's Continuum Care. Oh, but see
your display's up. You're prepared. I'm starting the clock.
Okay, yeah, you start the clock. Okay, but I want to say this. I'm speaking about homelessness. Man, I notice you got a lot of people still homeless in Augusta, a whole lot. And I still see them sleeping outside, especially in the Southgate area, where the bus station is, transfer station, Gordon Highway, and I think that's Millersville. I probably see more than any of y'all do because I don't drive. I'm out there walking around with them. I catch the bus with them, I ride. I get to my destination. I can ride if I want, but I get to my destination, I see a lot more private than you do. But right on with this subject, I would like to see a shelter implemented out there somewhere in that Gordon Highway area, a homeless shelter. That's what this is, Mayor. I drew it up for you as a concept, which you can get started, and I'll give Mr. Charles Jackson one too if he want one. This is the kind of stuff you need. When you see people sleeping outside, you see people dying in the cold, if it happens, then you forget about it. It might happen again. It's happening out there. The police come clean the area up. The people come right back because in that area, they don't have no support or social help. So I truly believe you need something in that area. You don't know when a cold snap going to come by or heat snap. My heart goes towards that family who lost that person in that shelter. I'm not putting down Garden City Rescue Mission, Augusta Rescue Mission, or the Salvation Army. But I know how they operate. Maybe you don't. You just know the name, but you don't know how they operate. Maybe that man came and knocked on somebody's door. He knew if he had a little taste of wine or liquor, they wasn't going to let him in. But he couldn't sleep out. I don't know what happened to him. But I can tell you more about them shelters probably than any one of y'all up here could. I see Mr. Don Clark left. He was with United Forces, another homeless organization that support the veterans. I can tell you quite a bit, but I'm just saying right now, you need to think a little different out the box. Everything is downtown, off of basically Green Street. Augusta Rescue Mission, Garden City Rescue Mission, Salvation Army. What about the part out there in Gordon Highway? That's a big town. If you was out that way and you didn't have a ride and you got cold and you needed somewhere to lay your head, you probably would try to walk to the Rescue Mission, the Salvation Army too. But it's too far to walk I done tried that. I'll never do it again. That's a long ways, I tell you. But I'm just asking you to pay some attention to the homeless people and think about that area near Gordon Highway and put a little emphasis on it. They need it. They need help out there. They need a lot of help and social services. There's nothing out there. Now, how much time I got left, Mayor?
You have less than 2 minutes.
Oh, good. Now, this gives me a chance to share with you another proposed project I've been talking about while I was down here, to create 2 million positions of employment and training, job training, nationwide. And I've been working on it. And also to help eliminate homelessness and build more affordable housing. All right? It took me a long time. Sometimes you get people who don't want to help. You know, even if the president say help them, they ain't gonna help. But I got it kind of laid out to the point where you might be able to do something here in Augusta to help reduce crime and criminal recidivism. Now, if you want to take a look at it later on, I don't really want to discuss it right now. But, I'm glad to be here today. And Mayor, I just want to show you one other thing I mentioned to you, and then we can call it quits.
You got it. You got less than a minute.
Okay, good. Remember I showed you this project?
Yes, sir.
That's the museum and planetarium. Here's the learning lab, right? This kind of stuff people need so they can get people engaged in the city. They don't always have to be bystanders. Mayor, I think we done did enough talking. Oh, that's right, you ain't say nothing. Would you like to say something, sir?
Mr. Kelly, you got about 28 seconds, but I appreciate you.
I'm gonna give that away, man. I'm gonna let somebody have that. But just think about the people.
That's right.
Think about the people. Don't let nobody else die on the streets, frozen in the cold, because this shelter won't accept them. That shelter won't accept them. I guess that way they wouldn't accept me if I had a little drink and something happened and I said, let me in. You're gonna leave me outside too, right?
Mr. Kelly, as always, thank you for being here, sir. There's no colleagues in the queue. We appreciate your time and appreciate your advocacy for so many things, Augusta. Thank you, sir. All right, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Our next delegation, F, Mr. Zelwyn Davis, regarding overgrown grass, Augusta Housing Authority lawn maintenance and 927 Molly Pond Road.
Welcome, Mr. Davis. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
I have some pictures.
All right, have pictures. All right. While the clerk's office is getting those set up, Mr. Davis, if you will, for the record, please state your name and your place of residence, please.
Zelwyn Davis, Augusta, Georgia, Richmond County, 4th District.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to give her a chance to get those set up before we start the clock, all right? All right, are we ready? All right, Mr. Davis, I am starting the clock. You have the floor in 5 minutes.
All right, good evening, Mayor Johnson, Commissioners, and Administrator Allen. First, I want to thank you all for the work that you do and the responsibility you have in keeping our city running. I also want to recognize some positive experiences I've had with Augusta government. When I contacted Administrator Allen about an issue, she personally called me within 24 hours. Whenever I contact Commissioner Scott or Wembley, they follow up and work to get my concerns addressed ASAP. And 311 has consistently handled my request professionally and effectively. Unfortunately, there is one request I cannot get resolved. The overgrown grass at Walton Green Apartments on 15th Street. Code enforcement has told me that They do not enforce city ordinance against other governmental agencies. My question is simple. Why should a governmental agency be allowed to disregard the same nuisance and property maintenance ordinances everyone else is expected to follow? This is not an isolated concern. Commissioner Wimberly has raised questions about housing authority properties in Barton Village, and Commissioner Pulliam continuously voices concerns about overgrown grass throughout Augusta. In July, I emailed Director Freeman asking what would be done to bring Walton Green into compliance and when the work would be completed, and what long-term maintenance plan would prevent this from happening every year. This has been going on for over 5 years. His response was that the maintenance company would add streetscape maintenance monthly and cut the retention pond once a year in September or October after the growing season. This is not satisfactory. Grass should not be allowed to grow 5 feet tall in a residential community and then be cut once a year after the growing season. No resident should have to look out their door or drive home and see publicly controlled property maintained in that condition. The last time this grass was cut was last year after I came before this commission. I should not have to take time off my job to appear here before you all every year just to get the governmental agency to cut 5-foot tall grass. So I'm asking the commission for 2 things. Have the property cut and properly maintained and determine who is responsible for enforcing Augusta's nuisance and property maintenance ordinances when the property owner is another governmental agency. My second concern is Special Exception 2612 for the proposed solid waste transfer station. I'm speaking on behalf of residents and myself, not the Planning Commission. We have been told that some solid waste will go to the Deansbridge Road landfill, while much of the construction and demo waste will be transported to Jenkins County because Augusta wants to preserve valuable landfill airspace. This raises the question. If Augusta does not want this material consuming valuable capacity at our landfill, why should a facility handling and transferring large quantities of it be located near existing and planned residential communities? Look at what is already happening within approximately a mile of this proposed site. A planned unit development has been approved nearby. GIC is working to revitalize the area. Walker Village has been approved. And Habitat for Humanity has plans for approximately $1.85 million in new housing nearby. These investments represent the direction the community should be moving: housing, redevelopment, revitalization, and increasing property values. This is also a historically Black community that has experienced decades of neglect and incompatible land uses. We have seen the consequences of poor planning decisions before, including what happened with Hyde Park and the eventual relocation of those residents. We should learn from that history and not repeat it. The Planning Commission has already recommended denial of the request. I'm asking this commission to follow that recommendation and deny Special Exception 26-12. We can't say we want redevelopment, new housing, increased investment in an area while simultaneously approving land uses that could undermine those investments. On Walton Green, I'm asking for accountability and a permanent maintenance solution. On Special Exception 26-12, again, I'm asking you to protect the residential investment and revitalization already taking place and deny the request. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Davis. There are no colleagues in the queue for any discussion. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, I think we have one last delegate. Make sure you get your thumb drive. Yeah. There you go. All right. Madam Clerk.
Okay. Our last delegation, G, West Augusta 6, Ms. Patricia A. Jeter, regarding Title VII, Code Enforcement, Owner Accountability, and Oversight of High-Impact Operations.
Okay, Madam Clerk, Ms. Jeter, if you will, for the record, please state your name and place of residence, please.
Hello, Commission and Honorable Mayor. My name is Patricia Jeter, and my address is 4102 Elders Drive.
Thank you, ma'am. You have the floor in 5 minutes.
I'm here on several different concerns, but they kind of coincide with the Title VII ordinance that I brought before you all a couple of weeks ago in regards to a regular inspection schedule enforcement for this ordinance. There's been several situations that have taken place within, I would say, the last week. Pace's Corner is one of them. And there's also a place called Augusta Studio Lodge. There are residents online complaining about inhabitable conditions and no business license and so forth, similar to Pace's Corner. I'm asking that the commission deny the special exception request for the proposed solid waste transfer station at 927 Molly Pond Road. Now, that's one of my concerns. Why? My concern is the volume of waste, the potential environmental impacts, its location near homes, and whether Richmond County has staffing resources and inspection capacity to properly oversee an operation of this magnitude. 500 tons a day, where is it coming from? The proposal calls for approximately 500 tons a day or more of solid waste per day to move through the facility. At 500 tons every day, that's potential for 182,500 tons a year. That's an enormous amount of waste moving through one location. So I have a very simple question. Where is all this waste coming from? How much is coming from Richmond County waste? How much is coming from outside Richmond County? And who will be responsible for monitoring what comes into this facility? Solid waste can be anything to include sludge, which is actual remnants of fecal matter. What environmental problems could this create? Even though this is a transfer station and the waste is intended to be moved out, handling hundreds of tons of waste every day creates potential concerns involving odors, rats and roaches and insects, spills, waste residue, stormwater contamination, potential impacts to soil and water, fire hazards, heavy truck traffic, diesel emissions, and noise. Georgia's solid waste regulations specifically require controls for odors, dust, pests, waste scattering, and contaminating water. So why? So my question is, who is going to make sure that these protections are actually being enforced every day? What happens to this property when the development leaves? My question is, who's going to make sure that this is properly monitored? Because we're having problems monitoring places like Pace's Corner or Augusta Studio Lodge. They are operating in Augusta, Richmond County without license. How did that happen? And then they're evicting residents, and they're making money, but they're evicting residents and they don't even have a license. That all falls up under Title VII that I mentioned earlier. We don't have the resources or the manpower to keep up with businesses such as this. So now we have an issue here where we're looking at a solid waste transfer facility on Molly Pond Road, where it already stinks because of FPL. These residents are trying to bring up the area, the community. Pace's Corner shows why enforcement matters. Look at Pace's Corner. There is also other properties with similar problems. There are residents complaining about similar problems such as Studio Lodge of Augusta. How are these businesses operating in Richmond County without a license? Again, we don't have the proper manpower to enforce our own ordinance that's set to protect the aesthetic values in Augusta, Richmond County.
1 minute.
Let me go. Okay. Code enforcement has dealt with numerous cases involving sanitation, sewage, and utility problems, eventually requiring major response. I'm asking you to deny the special exception in regards to the transfer station, and I also have some concerns about the data center. The data centers that are coming, I'm asking, since there's currently an ordinance that's being developed, I'm asking that the commission consider limiting the amount of the number of data centers that come to Augusta. I'm not against development, but it can put a lot of tension on the power grid as well as our water resources, even though our power grid expands not just in the local area, but we actually get our power from other areas, other cities, other states.
Ms. Jeter, your time has expired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. All right, Madam Clerk, there's no colleagues in the queue. We're ready and prepared to move forward with our consent agenda. Before we get there, do we have any addendum items that we need to address?
Yes,
before
sir.
we get there? Okay. Okay. All right, we have one for the record. Can you read them in for the record, please?
Yes, sir. Item number 1 is a motion to approve a resolution and letter of agreement with the CSRA Regional Commission to develop grant proposals on behalf of Augusta for the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program. Item number 2 is a companion item to item number 2 on our existing agenda. It's a request for concurrence with the Augusta Planning Commission to approve a petition by Leon Luna on behalf of Stephen Childs requesting a rezoning from a Zone A agriculture, B1 neighborhood business, B2 general business, and light industrial to Zone B2 general business to develop an outdoor recreational vehicle and boat storage facility affecting property containing 6.55 acres located at 1364 Gordon Highway. The correction was made to show that the Planning Commission approved rezoning to B2 general business, not LI light industrial, which was previously advertised.
Okay.
It's companion item to number 2 on our consent agenda. They're asking that you consider the correction on addendum item number 2.
All right. Colleagues, is there any objection to adding? I'm going to go to the commissioner from the second first before I ask that question. Commissioner Pulliam, you're in the queue. You have the floor.
No objection. I just want to make number 1 on the addendum item and number 18 on the regular agenda companion items.
All right, the request is make number 1 and 18 companion. 18 companion. All right. I don't have any objection. Commissioner from the 8th?
No objections to those. I did have some additions to the consent agenda.
All right, you got it. Before we get there, no objections to adding these 3 addendum items to today's agenda? Madam Clerk, I don't hear or see any objections, so they're added.
I think it's only 2 items, sir.
2 items, I'm sorry. Commissioner Garrett, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to consent items 16 and 17 to the consent agenda.
Madam Clerk, 16 and 17. Okay, I don't hear any objection. Commissioner Pulliam from the second.
In addition to making them companion items, could we possibly consent them? Or do we have questions on them? Hopefully we don't.
Are there any questions regarding companion items 1, addendum item 1 and item 18? If there are none, we're going to add them to the consent agenda. Is that it? All right. Thank you, Commissioner Pulliam. Commissioner Don Clark from the 5th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Agenda item number 19, I add that to the consent.
Item number 19, added to consent. Don't hear any objection. Thank you, Commissioner Clark. Attorney Plunkett, see you in the queue.
Mr. Mayor, if it would be the will of the body, also item 10, to waive the second reading of the ordinance.
All right, no objection to waiving the second reading of the ordinance, item 10. Okay. Administrator Allen?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if we could just make one slight correction to 1 and 18 is on the resolution. It should not be any contribution cash match.
Okay, I did see that. So there's no contribution to the cash match.
No, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Johnson from the first.
Yes, sir. On item 10, I have I would like for our general counsel to kind of give us an overview of what, just kind of go over it one more time for us and then give us a quick little overview of it, if that's okay, before we pass it. Just an overview of what the major changes are, just for public knowledge.
Attorney Plunkett.
Mr. Johnson, this came up in May, and we talked about it. It was a red line version. At that time, there's basically 3 issues that we looked at. One was some decorum issues in terms of speakers, maybe appropriate decorum that was added to it. The second issue was there's some references to the mayor voting only in ties, so that was cleared up. There was, in that decorum issue, there was also some issues about signage, not to be brought into the chamber. And then the third issue was, as now it's been reflected in the order, is that the citizens who want to speak on the delegation would provide the clerk contact information so they could correspond if necessary, but that at the time they're speaking, that they would not be presenting only their county of residence so that you would know this is someone from Augusta or someone from out of town, or alternatively that you represent the company they represent.
Okay.
So
I want to make sure that there's like no new changes to how we define quorum or how we deal with quorum. Like
no, sir. It's the exact same thing that was voted on in May. It just the procedurally was this: is that y'all suggested let's talk about some changes to the ordinance and asked us to do it. We didn't know if you would adopt it verbatim as what we did. That's why we did not bring it as a ordinance at that time. Now we need to codify it into our ordinance book, so to speak.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you signify for the record that I have some opposition to some of the things here in 10, specifically the use of signage and things of that nature? I don't want us to get into policing people's ability to express themselves to this body. And so just put on the record that I'm opposed to item 10, but I know that it's going to consent, but I just want to be on the record for opposing it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner from the first. Commissioner from the sixth, Commissioner Tony Lewis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. It's my understanding that 16 was added to consent, but I do have some questions surrounding 16. So if we could pull 16, that I might be able to get these questions answered.
Madam Clerk, has been a request to pull 16 from the consent agenda, please. Okay. Commissioner from the eighth.
Motion to approve. She'll do that anyway.
Yeah, we got to read the public service announcements.
Call your attention.
Before I entertain your motion, just hold that tight, sir.
Okay. Call your attention to item number 1, our Planning Commission is requesting approval, requesting rezoning from a Zone A agricultural to a Zone B2 general business to a Zone light industrial to develop a fence supply business on property located at 3705 Benchmark Drive. Are there any objectors?
Any objectors to Benchmark Drive? Madam Clerk, I don't hear or see any.
Item number 2 is a request for a rezoning from a Zone A agriculture, B1 neighborhood business to a B2 general business and light industrial to a Zone light industrial to develop an outdoor recreational vehicle and boat storage facility. Are there any objectors?
Any objectors?
Shouldn't this read as the correction instead of the light industrial?
And number 2?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, I do see an objector for item 2. Ms. Jeter, do you object? All right. Are there any other
And
objectors?
the ordinance, that was the original. The reread is a request for concurrence with the Planning Commission to approve a petition by Leon Luna on behalf of Stephen Childs requesting a rezoning from Zone A Agricultural, B1 Neighborhood Business, B2 General Business, and Light Industrial to Zone B2 General Business to develop an outdoor recreational vehicle and boat storage facility affecting property located at 2364 Gordon Highway.
Ms. Jeter, do you still object to the reread? Madam Clerk, we still have an objector.
Okay.
Okay.
We have no alcohol petitions. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
All right, that is it.
3. Item number 3 is to deny a petition requesting a special exception to establish a solid waste transfer station affecting property located at 927 Molly Pond Road. Are there any objectors?
Any objectors? There's a lot of objectors to deny. All right, there's objectors to the denial. So they're objectors to the denial.
Mr. Mayor, would you ask them to distinguish their?
Yeah, so wait a second. For the record, you
Let me
want
just
this
pull agenda
transfer
item number
station to happen. Is that the reason why you're objecting denial? That is correct. Okay.
So we have 3.
How many? How many? 1 is 3. All right.
Let me just pull agenda item number 3 for discussion.
All right. Madam Clerk has been requested to pull agenda item number 3 for discussion.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner from the 8th, are you prepared to entertain that motion, sir?
Motion to approve.
And I'll second.
All right, there's a motion approved by Commissioner Brandon Garrett. It's seconded by Commissioner Catherine Smith Rice. Colleague, it is on the screen.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir, Commissioner Wembley.
are we voting on that motion? Or are we voting on the agenda, on the
We're voting on
consent?
the agenda, on the consent. That motion, item 3, has been pulled regarding the transfer station. So we're voting on approving the consent agenda, and that's adding to the consent item 17, addendum item 1, and 18 are companion. Item 19, we're pulling item 2, pulling item 3. All right, Madam Clerk, we have a proper motion and second. We're prepared. And 16, with the legal counsel, you're right. General counsel, Madam Clerk, you need to, 16 is,
Number 16 was on the regular agenda,
it
sir.
was on the regular agenda, so it doesn't need to be there. All right. Madam Clerk, we have a motion, to proper motion in the second. We're prepared to vote.
Okay. It's unanimous.
Madam Clerk, we're going to go in order. Item 2, and with the addendum of item 2 that Ms. Jeter voiced an objection to, please.
Okay. Do I need to read the was and then the should be? I know, but do I need to should read, or should I read what was posted? And both? The amendment, okay. The should read is the amendment to the existing item that's showing on the screen. A request for concurrence with the Augusta Planning Commission to approve a petition by Leon Luna on behalf of Stephen Childs requesting a rezoning from Zone A Agriculture, B1 Neighborhood Business, B2 General Business, and LI light industrial to zone B2 general business to develop an outdoor recreational vehicle and boat storage facility affecting property containing 6.55 acres located at 2364 Gordon Highway.
All right, Director Cameron?
Good afternoon,
Good
Honorable Commissioner and Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much. The case that you have before you today, the staff, we recommended approval, and the reason why is before the applicant came before us, it was originally thought of being heavy industrial, light industrial area, but because of the special exception that they asked for, when we did an analysis of the zoning ordinance, we found out that with that special exception, that they can actually be put in a B2 zoning. The property is already being utilized as a recreational area, and we looked at the zoning, again, a meeting that they had with previous staff, there was a recommendation that they be considered in light industrial, but based on the research, it was better to be in the business community or commercial area. They met all the criteria. They are able to meet all of the criteria that we're asking for. We do have an approval with some conditions. And I believe the Planning Commission, they actually, they went along with staff when we decided that it should not be in light industrial, but it should be in a business commercial zoning district. And we gave them the recommendation, and they agreed with it. And that's the reason why there was an approval. And I would like to, I'll entertain any questions as to why the decision, why there's opposition. I'll be happy to answer those questions.
Thank you, Director Cameron. Ms. Jeter, do you want to come up and express why you are objecting to this item, please? Is the petitioner here, the owner? Yes. All right, come on up if you don't mind. All right, Ms. Jeter?
Would you like me to state my name?
Yes.
Again? Tricia Jeter.
Yes, sir. All right, ma'am. Will you express the reason for your opposition, please?
Okay, I was there when, in planning and zoning, when this petition came about. My main concern is the aesthetic appearances. Gordon Highway already looks a wreck. Okay, I'm gonna be raw about it. That's why I'm focused on the Title VII ordinance that we have, that we're not utilizing the way we should under regular inspection schedules. So my concern is, I do believe Ms. Cameron did agree to not allow 18-wheelers to be stored on this property. I believe that's the reason for changing it from light industrial to B2. I'm just trying to get clarification on that. Number two, Gordon Highway already looks bad. It has enough mobile parks, at least 5 or 6 mobile parks that are not being properly maintained. So now we have development that wants to create a storage facility for RVs, boats, which is large, very large development. I'm concerned about how it's going to look from Gordon Highway. We're trying to bring up Gordon Highway. We want Gordon, because Gordon Highway is the corridor from downtown Augusta into southwest Augusta and on into Fort Gordon and on into Columbia County. Why is it that Richmond County always has to be a waste transfer station or a facility for storage or undesirable things development? Where's the restaurants? Where is desirable development that we would like Richmond County to be developed in? I don't have a problem with the development that this gentleman is trying to develop on Gordon Highway. What I'm concerned about is how it's going to be maintained. If we can't properly enforce our Title VII ordinance for situations such as Pace's Corner or Augusta Studio Lodge, where they're evicting residents, they're operating under improper business license, pretty much falling down, how are we going to make sure that this type of development is properly maintained? And it is the corridor into our communities. So therefore, I'm asking to make sure that it is gated to where we don't see it from Gordon Highway. I don't mean a chain link fence. I mean some type of barrier in the front to where we don't know that it's a boat facility behind that fencing. Trees, landscaping, beautification, such as that's what the ordinance is there for, to enforce this type of development, to make sure that it's being properly maintained and to enforce it.
Thank you, Ms. Jeter. Before I engage the commission, sir, as a petitioner, is there anything you'd like to add?
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Leon Luna. Actually, I totally agree with Ms. Jeter, but we will be in compliance with the tree ordinance behind this residential area in the back. There is trees all the way around. We do understand the 50-foot barrier between that and the development to the right that's apparently going to be taking place in the future. Across the street, there is nothing but a railroad track, and this is a used car lot. It was before. We will not have any 18-wheelers on the property, just operational RVs and boats, which we'll sign a contract with the person who's going to be renting the unit, the actual parking spot for their recreational vehicle. There is going to be a fence around with a mesh covering so that way nobody sees. But the tree barrier will kind of keep that, we're going to keep that tree barrier up to compliance on the residential sides of the property.
Thank you, Mr. Luna. Just sit tight. Chair recognizes Commissioner Francine Scott from the 9th.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. Mayor Johnson, I would like to ask Director Cameron a question, please. What was the condition that the planning commissioner listed?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Commissioner Scott. So there were 8 conditions, and pretty much a lot of what Ms. Jeter is, I understand her concerns. One of the standards was the development of the property shall comply with all development standards. So this project, when it comes into review, has to conform to all of our development standards and regulations. The other one is definitely they must comply with the Augusta tree ordinance. We also said that sidewalks shall be provided from the Barton Chapel Road and Sharon Road adjacent to the development. Lighting fixtures, of course, that's another portion of our development code that protects the area because we want well-lighted areas. And then also, no freestanding signage shall be permitted within 100 feet. So we talk about the sign ordinance. Also, the building shall not exceed 2.5 stories or 45 feet in height. And then also, as we look at the plans, if there are any variants that has to be addressed at that time. And then, again, these are the conditions that it must follow. Again, this is all about development standards.
Thank you. And our petitioner agree with the conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
I just had one more. I do believe they both mentioned that on the back side of the property. I'm concerned about the street view of Gordon Highway, the entrance where you're going to be actually ingressing and egressing onto Gordon Highway, because that's the corridor to our community. We're trying to bring up Gordon Highway. And so we don't want it to look like a tractor trailer or a bus station. We want it to be aesthetically pleasing that attracts other developers to want to come and build and develop in our community.
Yes, ma'am.
So therefore, I'm speaking about the front side of Gordon Highway as far as tall trees and barrier fences to where we don't know what's going on, what's popping behind the fence.
Yes, ma'am. We do have development standards. Also, the fire department has development standards as well. So we will do the development side. However, there's always a safety side that public safety and fire will always have regulations as to how that will look as well. So you're covered. We hear you.
Yes.
And you're covered.
My concern is Richmond County is being the dumping ground for unpleasant development. Transfer stations, I don't mean to offend anyone, but we want restaurants. We want a better quality of life. And in order to do that, we've got to speak out and we've got to talk about, we need to have a conversation about what we want over in Richmond County. Because this gentleman here, he lives in Columbia County, just like a lot of other people live in different states.
Ms. Jeter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jeter. All right. Mr. Luna.
One last thing, I do have my business partner, and he is from Augusta, Georgia, so he's right behind the property.
All right.
So we are co-owners.
All right, you're co-owners, and he lives behind the property. All right. Chair recognizes Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem Wayne Guilfoyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My comment was going to be made to Ms. Geter. Some of the challenges we have behind this commission is every time that somebody, a developer or anybody, residential builder, wants to come before us and bring new ideas and bring businesses to Augusta to raise our tax base, to bring new businesses into the Augusta area, it gets shot down. And that's a challenge for us sitting behind this dais, because we got to weigh everything out. It's going, you know, you talking about a piece of property that's already commercial. We all know that self-storage buildings, whether it's a boat building where you store your, instead of being in a residential where you can't have it because you got HOAs. We can't dictate of every business that comes in here. That's the challenge that we have. We shoot down residential developments, but the double-edged sword is you're going to end up with apartment complexes. How you going to fight that? It's either one or the other. In the John Shields 2011 20-year plan, Gordon Highway wasn't going to be residential. It was supposed to be moved from I think 8 lanes or down to 4 and made it into a commercial, kind of like what's happening right here. It was never to go back to the retail where you got restaurants there. The restaurants are being put in places where new housing, you in a prime spot, Ms. Geter, right there on Bel Air Road. You see what's happening around you. Everything's growing expeditiously. As far as this, since you keep bringing up transfer station, it's a heavy industrial zone. It's zoned for this. But I'll get this on the next subject. My motion is to pass this request here, but we have to be careful moving forward of everything we're going to fight that comes before this commission, because we'll end up with nothing. Then when we don't have anything, we're going to go, what happened? Exactly what happened is when we start debating and challenging anybody who comes before us, but my motion is to approve this request.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The Mayor Pro Tem is to approve, and I heard a second from Commissioner Lonnie Wimberly of the 4th. Commissioner Wimberly, you're in the queue, sir. You have the floor. Yeah, you do. All right, Madam Clerk, I have a motion and a second. There are no other colleagues in the queue. Mr. Luna, thank you for being here. Ms. Jeter, thank you for being here. We're getting prepared. We're getting ready to vote. Okay. Oh, you can go get your keys. All right, Madam Clerk, I have a motion and a second. We're voting.
It's unanimous.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Item 3, please.
Item number 3 is a request for concurrence with the Augusta Planning Commission to approve a petition by, a request for concurrence with the Planning Commission to deny a petition by G. Curtis Reynolds on behalf of DM Property Holdings, requesting a special exception of the comprehensive zoning ordinance to establish a solid waste transfer station affecting property located at 927 Molly Pond Road.
So much. Director Cameron.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, when this application came in around January, the applicant met with the development committee, the review committee, and at that time they received instruction as to have a development impact study done by DCA or by our regional commission. And that's usually what happens. I was told that before information is brought to the Planning Commission, they wanted to know what the development impact, the regional impact review was. And so the applicant actually went and had that done. He also received from our engineer department a consistency letter, and I believe that Dr. Malik brought that, and that was approved by this board a couple of months ago, or maybe a month ago. But the applicant went through all of the procedures. This location is a heavy industrial location, and that is the reason why the staff recommended approval. However, our planning commission, they decided that for the best interest of the community, they denied the request.
Thank you, Director Cameron. We have the petitioners, and we also, we have a room full of objectors, but you guys come on up as a representative. Is there anybody who wants to represent the objectors? I mean, does anybody want to represent the community that's here to speak in opposition? Madam President, you normally do a good job of.
I'll tell you.
Okay, come on. All right, come on up. They support the denial, but against approval. All right. Commissioner Lonnie Rimley, if you're okay to yield, can we hear from these folks before we get into the discussion? Is there something you need to add before we go into discussion? All right, guys, you have the floor. If you will, for the record, please state your name, who you represent.
My name is Curtis Reynolds. I am the petitioner, the engineer on behalf of Atlantic Waste Services.
Okay. All right. And you're from just home?
I'm from the city of Forsyth, Georgia, but I did reside in Augusta 2008 through 2012.
All right. You're objecting to the denial. Can you state your reason why, please?
I'm objecting to the denial because the facility, as stated, is in a heavy industrial area located greater than 1,200 feet from any residentially zoned property. The City of Augusta's zoning ordinances prohibits the development of residential properties within the heavy industrial district, as I understand. And surrounding this property, you've got over 1,200 feet to the west that's heavy industrial. You've got 1,500 feet or more to the south that's heavy industrial. You've got 2,100 feet to the north that's heavy industrial, and over 6,000 feet to the east that's all zoned heavy industrial. This facility, as a solid waste transfer station permitted by the Environmental Protection Division of the state of Georgia, will not accept any sludge. Sludge as a high moisture content waste is not allowed at a transfer station. In addition, as a facility permitted by the Environmental Protection Division, the Environmental Protection Division is subject to the operations. So Augusta alone will not be required to bear the burden of responding to the operations at the facility. The Environmental Protection Division, who has a district office right around the corner, is available to oversee the operations there or check on any complaints should the public have. The Environmental Protection Division also has a public complaint line and website where should the public have any complaints of the operations of the facility, those can be brought to light to the Environmental Protection Division, who will then send out representatives to check that facility. I wanted to clarify that as a transfer station, solid waste will be received, dumped on a concrete floor inside a roof structure and loaded into a semi-trailer to haul that to the landfill to reduce the traffic going to the landfill and reduce the wait times of diesel trucks standing idle at the landfill, releasing diesel fumes in that area. So to more efficiently haul trash to the landfill, this facility would aid and improve traffic in that manner. Additionally, the site will not be the transfer station will be restricted from receiving any of the offal or animal carcasses. So only your solid waste that's in the transfer station roll-off boxes will be received at this facility.
When you say solid waste, you mean yard waste or container waste?
Yard waste, container waste, and any household garbage.
Household garbage, all right.
And as well as construction and demolition waste, which I believe are in the roll-off boxes.
Okay. And that was a concern from the residents regarding the construction and demolition debris that will not go to our landfill. Can you explain the process for that?
Yes, sir. Construction and demolition debris is a specific type of waste under state regulations is less likely to produce leachate or environmental concern, but that waste, the construction and demolition debris is large and bulky. As a city who operates your own landfill, the only thing you have to sell at your landfill is airspace. For each airspace, you can envision a trash can like you have in your office. And so the permit for your landfill is that trash can. You can only fit so much waste in there. And your source of revenue for that landfill is the revenue coming in that you're placing in the landfill itself. So in order to provide the service to the residents of the city of Augusta and surrounding area, it's critical to conserve that airspace to receive the municipal solid waste in a manner that can provide that solid waste disposal in a safe and environmentally conscious manner to the surrounding citizens for the life of the facility. And we want to extend the life of that facility as long as possible, all the while caring for the needs of the citizens. So that's why the desire is to take that construction and demolition waste that's bulkier and you can't compact as much to another state-approved facility, leaving room to haul the municipal or household garbage from surrounding counties back to the Augusta landfill to provide revenue for the Augusta landfill operations.
How long without construction and demolition debris be on the ground at this transfer station? It's not going to be stored for an extended period of time, is there?
No, sir, it is not. That waste will be unloaded under roof, not subject to any stormwater, loaded into a separate trailer from your municipal or household garbage, and then generally hauled out within 24 hours, but in no case more than 3 days can construction and demolition waste remain. And I believe there was guidelines or conditions that there will be no outside storage of waste at this facility.
So everything's contained inside?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. To the community, thank you guys for being here. For the record, please state your name and your place of residence, please.
My name is Myra Hobbs. I'm a resident of Augusta, Georgia, particularly in the Turpin Hill area.
Thank you, ma'am. You have the floor.
Going back to the discussion about the construction and demolition, according to their application, that's only going to be 20% of what they plan to utilize in there. The majority of their waste is going to be solid waste. So that is not a major concern for us in terms of that. One question I do have in terms of this is that the commission recently approved the reactivation of the Goshen industrial site. I made a trip out there to the Goshen industrial site. There are two different things. There's 600 feet of woods surrounding that site. The nearest residential place is Goshen Estates or Plantation. It is surrounded by heavy industry, but it does not have the issues and the contamination that the Molly Pond site currently has. You're building on a site that currently is a former fertilization site. It's also a site where there's we have recycling, we have a lot of industry there. And the reason why they need the zoning exception is because they're bringing in products that can contaminate the wetlands that are in there. So just take, for example, if we have a severe thunderstorm with winds and heavy rain, and all of a sudden we have a power outage, the equipment that is supposed to pump the waste where it's supposed to go into city sewage and all of that, what happens when that shuts down? We can have a traumatic event like we had with Hurricane Helene. What happens then? That is going to deal with Oaks Creek, which is already starting to develop some flood issues that have already been mitigated, but because the city has not dredged that area in probably 20 years, we have trees growing in the creek. So every time it rains, instead of the water being down here, the water is up here and here's the edge in certain parts of it. That's a concern for us. And finally, I'll just say this. this particular area has been, we honestly have no trust in the city right now because of the past things that have happened. Hyde Park, Carrie J. Mays Center. The back part is currently closed because it used to be a former landfill, and it became closed because of the gas emissions that were coming up, and it's still closed to this day. And so we just feel as if that our area has been neglected for so long, and we keep getting things in there that cause more contamination. And we are in this process of revitalizing that area. When you have a solid waste station, and I have no objection to that principally, but I'm saying in an area, even according to the city's solid waste management plan, if you have something that's coming in that is going to impact the neighborhood negatively in a place that's already distressed, that goes against the city's own plan. And so we're asking you to deny, to uphold the denial that the Planning Commission did for this project. I'll yield it to some other members.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, sir, for the record, please. Just for the record, please.
My name is Billy Brazel. I live approximately about 1.2 miles from where they're trying to put this position, transfer facility. And I'm 69 years old, so I've seen a lot in our area over there. You know, from Southern Wood Piedmont contaminating the area, Goldberg scrapyard contaminating the area. You know, you got the gas company contaminating the area. Right down the street from where they're trying to put their facility, we had old mills there. And I suffered because those businesses were there. I ran a business on Twig Street. The rats coming from, going between the two feed mills there, used to come into my store, man, and eat up everything. I lost a lot of money in that business because of that. You finna bring trash and dump it right here on this same area that's already been a problem. I mean, come on. Just for Goldberg alone, the state spent $10 million to haul that stuff up out of there. $10 million that was spent. Do the city of Augusta want to spend that kind of money? We don't know what's coming down the road, but guess what? We better be prepared if something do come. Oaks Creek, you can throw a rock from their place to Oaks Creek. And I asked him when he brought the meeting to our neighborhood association, I said, well, what y'all gonna do about the stuff, you know, that y'all got to wash down? Well, we're gonna keep it inside. And I'm gonna believe that. If I go by there and look at it, the surface is flat to the ground, that building there. If they gonna have to wash the mess down. We all know that. It's gonna come outside. In the creek, you can throw a rock to it. I mean, on my street that I live on, I can't hardly cross the next intersection because of the growth on that fence, which don't have anything to do with this. But what I'm saying is, I asked the guys, well, can I go over here and spray something to cut it down? Because they come cut it down and come right back. You can't do that. It's a regulation that you can't put any chemicals to go in that creek. Now, if they're finna bring chemicals less than 200 feet from the creek, and you're gonna guarantee me none of that is gonna get in the creek, I'm gonna just go ahead on the year and let y'all make a decision here that try to help us. You know, I've seen enough. Enough people had to move out of there. Come on, I don't want to move.
All right, thank you, sir. Madam President, for the record, please state your name and.
My name is Octavia
That's you after.
Collins. I'm the president of the Richmond County Neighborhood Associations Alliance. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, for this time. You've heard the concerns of our citizens and the president of Turpin Hill, as well as Ms. Jeter brought it up earlier, even though it wasn't part of her agenda item, but she did bring it up. So I'm not going to bore you with all of that. But what I will say is I can understand both sides. I truly can. And I know exactly where it is. And I know there's a half a mile from the nearest home when you go down Molly Pond Road to Old Savannah, if you make a right or a left, you're still about a half a mile from a residential home. You know, I'm sure that that area is already highly contaminated. And we talk about the EPA, and as the gentleman mentioned earlier, you already got a problem with water and EPA. But at the end of the day, we keep piling more and more things in areas that already have major issues. We don't just come down here just to come. We come down here on behalf of the residents that's trying to do what's best for their communities. And I know each of you are in agreement with they have the right to stand up for what they feel is right for their communities. Additional pollution, additional contamination. Yes, they say, you know, I heard one time that the waste would not be there for more than 30 minutes. And yes, I did hear that. Is that not correct? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm out of order. I should not have been talking to them. From their mouths in a meeting, they said that the waste would be there approximately 30 minutes, loaded onto a truck, and then shipped out. Now I hear, or maybe I misheard, within 24 hours. The one thing I've learned in business, you can tell me anything to get what you want. And then we end up suffering the consequences of those actions. That is a awful looking area already. And I know they think it's going to improve the area. But once again, they talked about the smell, the potential rodents, potential contamination of water, et cetera. All I can say is I would trust that you consider everything that's been said. I would hope that you would vote with what planning did to deny it, but the decision is yours. And we do thank you for your time and for your consideration, and we look forward to hearing what your decision is on behalf of the Augusta Richmond County citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. All right, sir, you asked for a couple minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. If I may just make a few comments regarding their comments. In reference to the currently flat building, the current finished floor elevation is above the 100-year flood elevation, which at the entrance of the building is approximately 130.9 feet mean sea level. The existing finished floor elevation, I believe, is approximately 132. The plan for the facility is to build up that finished floor elevation higher in an effort to slope that floor away from the entrance of the building, to promote drainage from anything coming out of the trucks into the building, not outside of the building toward Oates Creek. So in reference to the flood concerns and the washdown, the finished floor will be built up and sloped into the building to collect that liquid. That liquid is surprisingly small until you start washing down the floors. So in reference to power going out or issues with equipment, you've got the possibility of installing a generator to provide a way to remove that liquid from the site in times of power outage. And that would be generally if there was washdown or significant rain in the containers, like your household garbage containers sitting out by the road with the top open, and you have a summer thunderstorm. But there are wet methods to control that liquid and manage that in times of power outage. And then in reference to the odors and rodents, the Environmental Protection Division for the state of Georgia's guidance for transfer station operations, as well as the rules for solid waste management, require that this facility is operated in a manner to not produce any odors or be an environment for pests and rodents. And so in doing so, the floor will be swept clean once daily to collect all that trash and get it in containers to ship out to the landfill. And if there's any issues that do cause odors or rodents, again, there's the Environmental Protection Division complaint hotline. In reference to this facility being a site that was on the Superfund list or contaminated in the past, that is correct. However, EPA released the site from further action in, I believe, 1988, documenting that it was not worth further cleanup at that time based on the levels. I've not seen those reports, but just in correspondence with EPA, that is the reference we were able to find. All in all, I just wanted to emphasize that Atlantic Waste Services, as the future operator of the site, desires to be a partner with Augusta and its landfill for their operations in an effort to improve traffic flow and bring in surrounding household garbage to the Augusta landfill.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to get to some colleagues on the commission that's been waiting patiently. Commissioner Lonnie Wimberly, thank you for your patience. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What's the gentleman there? I just want to ask him a couple of questions.
Proceed on.
Okay. Are you familiar with history? If I start talking historical things to you,
yes,
you think you could relate to them?
Yes.
Okay. Where are normally landfills in contaminated area develop in communities?
Again, sir, this is not a landfill. There will be no waste disposal.
I didn't say it was a landfill. I said, where are they normally located? I said landfills and contaminated areas. Where are they normally located? I could tell you if you want me to. Well, they're normally located in low-income minority communities. Have you ever heard of reclaiming?
Yes, sir.
A community?
And reclaiming landfills, by the way, too.
Reclaiming, when you go back in there when it was used for one method, and then you go and reclaim it, and then reuse it for another one. And most time when it's reclaimed for a better purpose. So these communities are building residential areas around that area. So if you continue to put in things such as a landfill, and I know it's not a landfill, it's a transfer station, but it's to serve the same purpose in handling garbage. If you continue to put that in there, do you think it will have an effect on the development of that area?
Sir, if I may point out, there's a closed inert waste landfill behind the concrete plant right across Molly Pond Road. There is an active inert waste landfill across Gordon Highway, as well as an inert waste transfer station across Gordon Highway, and then one or two recycling facilities located between this subject property and the residential area of Turpin Hill community.
So now, make sure everybody know what inert means. That means boards, concrete, non-deteriorating material.
Yes, sir. Inert waste is earth and earth-like material, including concrete and cured asphalt.
There you go. So the chance of them contaminating is very, very low. All right. So that's a good point you brought up, though. Mr. Mayor, I move that we uphold the denial that planning and zoning board applied to this request.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Wimberly. Madam Clerk has requested that we uphold the denial of this with a proper second from Commissioner Francine Scott. We have other colleagues in the queue. I'm sorry. Pulliam. I thought I heard It's Pulliam. I'm sorry. Commissioner Pulliam. Motion by Commissioner Wimberly, second by Commissioner Pulliam. Mayor Pro Tem Wayne Guilfoyle, you have the cue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk to the petitioner, and then I'm going to request Dr. Malik to come up. Mr. Curtis, as far as the concerns of the people, the residents that has came up already, as far as the environmental controls, who's going to govern that? Does the city participate in that whatsoever?
Transfer station, the Environmental Protection Division of the state of Georgia issues the permit. So the state of Georgia has the personnel to govern the operations. However, should there be anything outside of the city and county ordinances, the Augusta code enforcement can take part in that as well.
Okay.
But the state of Georgia has rules and regulations and oversight over the transfer station operations.
All right. Is this y'all's first transfer station?
No, sir. Atlantic Waste Services is operating 5 current transfer stations and then hauling waste for a 6th and constructing a 7th. In those 5 operating transfer stations, one is located in the city of Pooler, just outside the city of Savannah. And that facility has 25,000 square feet, where this facility will have a little under 15,000 square feet for transfer station operations.
Is it close to a neighborhood, close to
Yes, sir.
residential or other commercial properties?
Yes, sir. There is a trailer park near that one, but more importantly, a church within 1,200 feet who has provided a letter stating that they've never had any complaints with odors or rodents, and that the Atlantic Waste has been a good neighbor, providing containers to help that church when they have cleanup or events or need to do projects there. And that's additionally wanted to note, one way that Atlantic Waste Services would like to be a partner to the Turbine Hill community is offering 100 tons per year of waste management there through the transfer station, and providing assistance with cleaning up operations or any residential or commercial developments within that community. But in addition to that church, going back to Pooler now, that transfer station again is 2,000 tons per day. So 4 times as much that could be brought. Initially, there won't be 500 tons a day coming to this facility in Augusta. We put that in there to give a range of what could be in the future. So the Pooler transfer station, again, 25,000 square feet, 2,000 tons per day, is located less than 600 feet, or approximately 600 feet from a Parker's Kitchen gas station. Their direct neighbor. And that gas station, in 5 years that this 2,000 ton per day transfer station has been operating, has not had any complaints. And actually, that's one of the top 10 operating Parker's Kitchen in that franchise, such that the transfer station operations has not harmed that establishment.
Well, thank you. Next question is for Dr. Malik, if you don't mind.
Dr. Malik.
Dr. Malik, this item had came up before us back in, what, June? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Sometime around that time, yes, sir.
And what was the meaning behind that agenda item being approved?
So that's basically required to look at the impact of this operation on the landfill itself, on the natural resources, the surrounding, all that. So based on my historic knowledge of the area, working in some other sites they've been mentioned, in this discussion, and looking at the site itself and where it is and what's else around it, all that, that was all the reasoning, and the requester is agreeing to bring solid waste to our landfill, so there's no impact to that. Also, I want to bring it to his body attention that this is a new trend in handling the waste management, the transfer stations, because it helped the haulers, instead of going all to the landfill, it helped the landfill operation because it minimizes the truck traffic. Because, for example, they bring the trailers, so each trailer might have 4 or 5 trucks of waste loads. So instead of going 4 or 5 trucks at the landfill, just one trailer's come. So with all those things, that's why the department and myself recommended approval of that letter,
So is it beneficial for Augusta's landfill as well?
Yes, sir. It will help from all aspects.
All right. Tell me the negative about this process.
The next step.
Negative.
Negative, really, where it is, you can't think anything negative coming out of it. They're going to have financial insurance and all of the things if the facility is shut down. So that's some of the things need to be in place. So we have mechanisms to make sure there's no leftover waste or anything else. The other thing I'd look at that where it is and which route they're going to be using. So it's really on Gordon Highway, which is a major highway, the Doug Bernard in the other one, and then they can get on the I-520 Bobby Jones if they have to haul to the landfill. So my assessment was that there will not be a whole lot this traffic going through the neighborhood and all that because it's a transfer station. And the trucks who picking up the waste from the neighborhood are going to be picking up anyway from that.
All right. The transfer station over there off Highway 56, Goshen Boulevard. I actually had one of the ladies that lives in Goshen, and she shot me a map, but there was a directly behind Coastal's facility where they park all the garbage dump trucks. The neighborhood right behind it is Dogwood and Oakdale. I mean, the properties, but the neighborhood. And across the street from that, I guess, is the transfer station for waste management. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that was the facility. It's not functional anymore, but that's just it was, yeah, at one time.
But did we have complaints from the neighborhood, from either the neighborhoods from Goshen or from the Dogwood that's right beside it?
Not to my knowledge, because the city use that facility on the lease basis for its purpose too. So.
All right. Can I ask the plan and zoning director something as well?
Yes, sir. Mayor Pro Tem, continue.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Cameron, what conditions do we have on this that staff was recommending?
Yes, sir. That the development follow all of the development standards and guidelines. They must comply with the tree ordinance, the design of the buildings. Of course, to get the letter of consistency from the engineering department. No outdoor materials to be stored on the outside of the building and the property. It must be in compliance with EPD regulations, and then must follow all the guidelines of our environmental services department.
And as far as that heavy industrial property, everything that surrounds it, heavy industrial as well?
Absolutely.
What could be changed in that area? What could go there besides this transportation as far as being heavy industrial? Anything?
Another industrial type business, chemical plants of that nature. And that would be by right.
Wow.
Based on our code in that area, yes, sir.
Right. And there's no hope in the future that any of that property changes, not in my lifetime.
Our future land use map keeps that area as heavy industrial, as it is now,
Yes, ma'am. All right, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve this petition of G. Curtis Reynolds on behalf of DM Properties Holding for a special exception, a solid waste transportation at 927 Molly Pond Road.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem, that will be in the form of a substitute motion to approve.
Yes, sir.
All right. Madam Clerk, Mayor Pro Tem has put in a substitute motion to approve this.
Roll call vote, please, sir.
Yes, sir. I don't have a second yet,
Don't
so.
have a second yet.
I don't have a second. There's a second by Commissioner Brandon Garrett. Chair recognizes Commissioner from the 3rd, Commissioner Catherine Smith Rice.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Wait a minute. Excuse me. May I ask a quick question again? Was a traffic study done on this one? Was there any traffic study done?
We did not acquire the traffic study.
Okay.
This point is already commercial area, and it's not going to be Given the volume they're mentioning, there's not going to be a whole lot traffic there. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice. Chair recognizes Commissioner Lonnie Wimberly from the floor.
This matter is for the director.
Okay, Director Cameron.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You stated that this is already zoned for heavy industry, right?
Yes, sir.
Can a zone be changed?
Absolutely.
And if I want to reclaim, I could do a special exception and get it rezoned?
Yes, sir, and our recommendations would be not just one property, but several, because if you do one, that would be spot zoning, and that would be illegal.
No, okay, I'm just saying it can be done, though.
Absolutely.
Right? So if the community continue to grow and develop, that could possibly be an opportunity to rezone that and develop it for other use. Am I correct?
You're so right, sir.
Okay. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Call for the vote.
All right, I got a couple of colleagues in the queue first. It's been a call for the vote. Commissioner Pulliam?
Before I vote, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to, because this is my area, this is my district, and we all know how I am about my district. I absolutely love all of Augusta, but when I drive to commission meetings, I ride through my district. When I take my son to school in the morning, I ride through my district. When I go to church, I ride through my district. So much so, I present pictures all the time of my district. Thank you to everyone that spoke, but Ms. Hobbs mentioned neglect. And this time when I ran on a basis of an area that's been overlooked and neglected for over 40 years, because it has. And when you go from being told that a lot of your area is on reactive schedules for whatever that is, when you're looking at infrastructure issues that exist and have existed for, some of my constituents tell me, for over 60 years, when you look at projects in your area, and those projects sometimes total over $20 million to correct issues that have plagued an area for over 40 years, there's a problem with that. And so because we now know, and because we've probably all already known, that as we're looking at this zoning ordinance, we would be able to rezone certain areas. We all know that we're trying to revitalize this area. And so I ask you, there is other areas that are available for transfer stations, and that's not what I'm here to dictate to the presenter or anything else. But if you knew that you wanted to see change, and you knew the people that you serve, the people that elected you, wanted to see change in their area, would you not listen to and ride around to see the issues that currently exist? And would you add to the problems, potentially add to the problems that are already there? And so that's what I'm asking you to do before you cast your vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Pulliam. Chair recognizes Commissioner from the first, Commissioner Jordan Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to request a roll call vote on both the substitute and the main motion.
Yes, sir. That is noted. Madam Clerk, we have a substitute motion made by the Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner from District 10, to approve this action, to approve the transfer station with a proper second by Commissioner Brandon Garrett. Roll call vote has been requested. I think we're prepared to vote. Substitute motion to approve.
Ready, Mr. Mayor?
We are prepared, Madam Clerk. Let's go.
Mr. Clark.
Approve it, man.
And so we're voting, just give me a point of clarification on the substitute motion again, please.
Substitute motion is to approve the action and allow the transfer station to occur on Molly Prawn Road in heavy industrial area.
Okay. No, I don't approve.
You're voting no?
No.
Okay. Mr. Garrett,
Yes.
Mr. Guilfoyle. Yes, ma'am. Mayor Johnson,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jordan Johnson,
No, ma'am.
Mr. Lewis,
No, ma'am.
Ms. Pulliam,
No, ma'am.
Ms. Rice,
No, ma'am.
Ms. Scott,
No, ma'am.
Ms. Slindeck, Mr. Wembley.
No, ma'am.
That motion fails.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Johnson from the first.
No, so I'm just still in the queue to cast my vote on the main motion.
All right, we're prepared for the main motion, which was properly made by Commissioner Lonnie Wimberly from the fourth and seconded by Commissioner Stacy Pulliam from the second. We're prepared to vote.
Mr. Clark, to deny.
This is to deny the,
Yes, sir, that's on the screen there.
okay, so we're voting, when we vote yes, we're voting to deny.
To deny, yes, sir.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna vote no on that.
You're voting no. Mr. Garrett,
No.
Mr. Guilfoyle. Mayor Johnson,
No, ma'am.
Mr. Jordan Johnson,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lewis,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Pulliam,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Rice,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Scott,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Slindeck, Mr. Wembley.
Yes, ma'am.
That motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move on to the next item, please. Madam President.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your time and whatever your vote was, whether you voted yes for denial or whether you voted no for denial. I know your jobs are not easy, and I know we don't make them any easier, but we care about our communities and we appreciate everything that you do, and we definitely appreciate you listening to us. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Where are you
Madam Clerk?
headed?
Mr. Mayor, as a point of clarity, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can we,
Commissioner Jordan Johnson.
can we give a point of clarity to the members of the community as to how that vote just happened, the result of that vote, just in case there was any kind of confusion from any members here?
Yeah. Director Cameron, can you come back?
Well, maybe the clerk. I mean, the director doesn't necessarily have to tell us. We just want to make sure the neighborhood knows how the vote happened,
Could do that.
the status
Am I
of that
correct?
event.
Ms. Bonner, the vote was the original motion to deny the petitioner request for a transfer station on Molly Pond Road. That vote passed.
Yes,
So
sir.
it is a
Deny.
denial.
Mr. Mayor.
Can, just for the record, can you state, with that denial, what does this mean? That means that they will not be able to come before this body for
6 months,
6 months.
180 days.
All right. Thank you much. Madam Clerk, that takes us to item number 16.
Item 16, a motion to approve and authorize the amendment to the agreement with MGT for general counsel recruitment services.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Tony Lewis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. I was looking for our HR director, Ms. Rooker. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Someone, Director Rooker out in
I'll
the
just-
overflow.
Mayor Johnson, I'll just propose this question to our administrator, if I may.
Yes, sir. Well, there's the director.
Okay.
HR director. Director Rooker, you've been requested.
Hey, Director Rooker. Director Rooker, I understand and I know that we ask you to move forward with initiating this recruitment of a general counsel for the city of Augusta. And I don't think that we asked you, did you have what you need in order to do this? So my question is it in your budget to perform this particular service here?
No, sir.
It's not.
I don't have it.
Mayor Johnson, may I direct Administrator, please?
You may. Administrator Allen.
Administrator Allen, in moving forward with this request here, where would the funding come from to be able to do this?
Yes, sir. In speaking with our Deputy Administrator, Ms. Stevens, she informed me that the funds are available in the Human Resources Department budget. So I'm not sure if there is a misunderstanding as it relates on Ms. Rooker's part to something that may have been adjusted, but the funds are available in the department's budget.
So I'm hearing you that, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm satisfied. As long as you say the funds are available, I'm satisfied.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. It's available in the law department's budget.
Wait, okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Ms. Rooker. I misspoke.
So, for the record again, funds are available to proceed.
Yes, sir.
And funds are coming from the law department's budget.
Yes, sir. I misread
General
that.
Counsel
Yes, sir.
nodded his head with that in the affirmative.
Sir, if I may.
Yes, sir.
So we may have to have some adjustment from personnel to the general, below the line, because we have a very small budget relative to administrative expenses, but because we've not hired a number of attorneys, there's money there that if we could adjust that budget, we could take care of it.
Sounds good to me, General Counsel. Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Second. All right, there's a motion by Commissioner Tony Lewis from the 6th, seconded by Commissioner Brandon Garrett. Commissioner Wimble, I see in the queue. You want to add something before we vote?
I just have a question, Mr. Mayor, and
Okay.
I think the administrator or the attorney can answer. There's an amount listed in the agenda item. Is that sufficient for what we need?
Yes, sir. That is actually the quote that Ms. Rooker received from MGT.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Wembley. Madam Clerk, we're prepared to vote. The motion made by Commissioner Tony Lewis to approve. Second by Commissioner Brandon Garrett.
Mr. Guilfoyle, gone. Yep. Mr. Wimbley, are you thinking? Okay. That motion carries with Mr. Guilfoyle out.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Does that conclude our business for today's agenda?
I believe so.
Before we adjourn, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to make an announcement that has been shared with me by the family of former Senator Charles Walker. As many of you know, he passed this morning, and I want to read a statement on behalf of his family. This morning, former State Senator Charles W. Walker Sr. passed peacefully at home, surrounded by his family and loved ones. Senator Walker, Georgia's first African-American Senate Majority Leader, dedicated his life to public service and to the Augusta community he loved. During this difficult time, our family is grateful for the outpouring of love and support we have already received. Arrangements for funeral services will be finalized in the coming days, and we will share details with the community when we can. We kindly ask for privacy as we grieve and celebrate the life, beloved husband, father, and grandfather. For immediate inquiries or additional questions, please contact his daughter, Kim Walker Wilder, and her email is listed. Let's have a moment of silence for this giant. Thank you, and please keep his family in your prayers. Madam Clerk, if that concludes our business, this session is hereby adjourned.